Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Diamonds in the Rough podcast, episode 6. We have a special show for you today. My first guest today is none other than the great Jared, Jetpack J. Henderson from the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. He plays for the TBL's Lewisville Leopards. He's a rising young basketball player in the league coming up. Jared, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on today.
No problem, man. No problem, man. First off, I wanted to ask you a question. How did you get the nickname Jetpack J?
Well, my teammates, they had came up with the name. Actually, it was one day during practice. I believe Mike, he had came up with that name, like, because I did a ridiculous dunk during practice, and he was like, Jetpack J. I was like, yeah, I got a nice ring to it, so it just carried on from there.
Definitely, man. I definitely hear that. I was reviewing your stats, man, and I know that you're known for your thunderous dunks. So definitely, that's a great nickname, Jetpack J. Growing up, what made you decide to play basketball, and who is or was your basketball idol that you patent your game after?
Well, I grew up playing basketball when I was about 3 or 4. My mom, and my dad put me in officially, that was like the youth league back in San Marcos, Texas, that I played in, and I've been playing since then. And then someone I look up to is Michael Jordan, how he carries himself on and off the court, and then the spectacular things he did on the court is just sticks out, and it just amazes me.
Definitely, man. Did you get a chance to watch Michael Jordan a lot when you were growing up as a kid?
No, I mean, when he retired, I was about 6 or 7. So I mean, I was watching the game, but not like like that, like I am right now. So I didn't get to watch him, but of course I watched his highlights, and then The Last Dance, of course. That's when I really was like, amazed at what he did on and off the court. So yeah,
definitely agree, man. I definitely got a chance to watch Michael Jordan a lot coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Me being born in the 80s and growing up in the 90s, and obviously now watching LeBron James, I definitely see the similarities and some of the differences, between those guys. But definitely glad that you got a chance to check out the Last Dance.
Oh, yeah.
And as well as many others out there that got a chance to check out the Last Dance too.
Gotta watch it.
Definitely. Man. All right. How is playing professionally in the CYM Undiscovered League and TBL, and for the TBL's Lewisville Leopards, helped you both on and off the court? And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, it's helped me tremendously, both on and off the court. Off the court, they help us with giving back to the community and just basic like business and life situation stuff. And I feel like I need that right now when I'm going through like the time I'm going through right now. And then on the court, Coach Mack and Miss Year, I can't thank them enough. They're extremely hard on me. And it just helped me a lot. My game has definitely progressed these last couple of months. I feel like I'm getting better and better like every day. So, and then the Undiscovered League and the TBL it's a great league. The Undiscovered League is a great league right now. It's just helping us undiscover guys, get on the map, talk to people like you with different podcasts and everything. And I feel like that's just great. And the TBL is just growing. It went from 12 teams last year to 35 now, and it's just growing and growing, and it's getting so much attention and hype. It's just ridiculous. So I feel like I'm in the best situation possible.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. I got a chance to read that article yesterday on LinkedIn about the league, and it's great what they're doing on and off the court. Shout out to Dr. Shira Ackerman and Mathis Crowder for what they're doing. And I think you guys are doing a great job with the league, and definitely wish you continued success with the league. I hope it continues to grow in your own professional career and personal life off the court.
Yes, sir.
Now I see you got a couple buddies in the background there.
Yes, sir.
Who are some of your friends that you made while playing in these pro leagues? And do you guys hang out off the court?
Well, all my teammates I consider them friends. It's not really a group of guys, It's just I feel like everybody I've played with and our teammates with is family to me. And these two guys right here, this is This is Boza Bosovic. He's from Montenegro, and this is Abdel Nasser Rabi. He's from Algeria. But those are the two guys that live in the house, and I live in the house too. And those are the two guys, that I hang with majority of the time because, of course, I live with them. So they're two great guys, and on and off the court.
Yeah, definitely. Boss has been a guy that I've been covering and recapping the games from, and he's also been doing his things too, putting up big stats, doing big things in the league.
Yes,
so
sir.
Shout out to him. What's going on, boss? I definitely hope to have you on the show sometime, man. Talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the support.
Yeah. So we're just talking about your friends. What things do you enjoy doing other than basketball?
Just relaxing, chilling out with my teammates, and just I like shooting pool, and I like going bowling. Just chilling out with my teammates. That's about it. I'm really a pretty cool guy to hang out with. I'm not really wild or anything. So yeah.
Definitely, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
You look like a grounded young man. Very focused. Very focused.
Yes, sir. Very focused on my craft. Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing those things too. Shooting pool, and going bowling, playing basketball, working out at the gym, going to movies, just chilling. I try to keep it kind of low key. I was kind of crazy, wild in my younger days, but you get older, man. You settle down and see what's important.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to go into the movies right now because of like the pandemic and everything. But we watch movies here, and I feel like that's pretty fun. So
definitely, as long as you got that Amazon Fire Stick and Netflix, and Hulu, you're good, man.
Good, you're definitely good.
Speaking of movies, man, I wanted to ask you, what is your all-time favorite basketball movie and why?
That's tough. I would have to say He Got Game. I feel like Ray Allen and Denzel Washington did a fantastic job in that movie. Just like seeing like the life of a basketball player on that platform, like what he goes through and everything, and I just feel like they played a great role on that movie, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Definitely agree with that. He Got Game was a great movie. Two of my favorites that come to mind. One is I got to go with Above the Rim. Tupac Shakur and Dwayne Martin back in 2003. I love that story. How it was told. Like how this kid was a basketball player coming up, and he was. Tupac was kind of affecting him as a drug dealer playing with his team, and getting advice. So that movie right there was a great story. And then another movie is Coach Carter.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I think of Coach Carter, I think of a coach that knew what he was doing, disciplining his players, not just become great athletes in basketball, but to become great young men and great student athletes. That's very important. And I see the similarities with that, and with you guys, what you guys are doing with the creating young minds Undiscovered League. You guys aren't just being taught basketball and how to be great basketball players, but great men off the court. And how to be great students and learners and everything off the court. And I see the similarities because I watched Coach Carter recently, and I kind of thought of the creating young minds Undiscovered League. And it's just a great story.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like Coach Mack, he's definitely on that type of level. Coach Carter, he keeps his level headed. He's honest. He's relentless. He's a very relentless coach. So I feel like he can definitely play that role in Coach Carter.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. All right. Well, you see, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan here. And we got the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. So before I let you go, I want to ask you: who do you like to win the Super Bowl 55, and why? Give us a score and prediction. It should be a great game on Sunday.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like the NFL wanted that game, but that's kind of hard because Pat Mahomes, it's a great rising quarterback, and I want to see him win, but you can never bet against Tom Brady. Like that's the GOAT. That's my GOAT of football. He's going for what, seven rings, right?
Yeah, 7 Super Bowls. He's won 6. Yeah.
If he went, that's hard. That's very hard. But I'm gonna go with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers this weekend because they're at home, and the the 3 playoff games they won has been on the road too. So they already been through it, and they're back at home. And like I said, and it's gonna be a great game. I want to see a great game for sure. But a score, I'd say, I don't know if it's gonna be a high scoring game or not. I don't know. That's tough. I'd say 41-35 Buccaneers on Sunday.
Close, man.
Yeah, very close game.
That's like my prediction too. I like the Bucs 41-34 to win that game.
Yeah,
that game. I think it's going to be a close game, high scoring game. It's just so hard to go against Tom Brady, man. Especially being at home. They won the 3 road games to get the Super Bowl at home. It's hard to go. It's hard to go against Tom Brady. So I'm going with Tom Brady and the Bucs to win 41-34. But the Chiefs are favored by like 3.5, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if they win, because that Chiefs offense is so hard to stop.
Yeah. So Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. You got all them weapons on offense, and then they have a great defense too. So I mean, that was tough for me to pick the Buccaneers, but I'm gonna pick Tom Brady.
Yeah, and then if Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, it's going to be his 7th championship.
That's crazy to me.
And if he wins this championship, a lot of people's eyes, he might be the greatest team sport athlete of all time, passing Michael Jordan, who is your idol. What do you think about that?
I don't know about that. I'm always gonna have Michael Jordan up there because this is stuff he did, and it's just the wow factor is just amazing to me. But I think people are basing that off of rings, because he's passing Michael Jordan with 7 rings. But I mean, you could look at what Bill Russell. How many rings did he have? He had
11.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can't really base it off rings, But he's definitely one of the GOATs for football, though. Like I said,
I agree with that because football and basketball are a team sport. No one man can win a team championship.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a great player. He's done a lot for the sport, but football and basketball are team sports, not individual. It takes a team to win a championship. Sometimes people forget about that,
And just his story. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead, bro.
But just his story, coming from college, was a 6th-round pick to potentially like going for the 7th ring. Like, that's just amazing. I don't think anybody's had that story in all sports.
Yeah, Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick, drafted like 299.
Almost got cut.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was drafted 5th.
Well, he's 3.
A lot of people, a lot of people think with Michael Jordan, like I know he got to the final 6 times and went 6-0 in the finals, but a lot of people forget about how Michael Jordan struggled in his early days. Having to try to beat the Boston Celtics and Detroit Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
It took him years and years to overcome that and to get over the hump. And then once he finally got over the hump, he dominated.
Yeah, because I was watching Last Dance a couple of days ago again, and just like when he came back from retirement back in '95, he was talking about how like the guys that just came on a team there riding high because they had won a championship in those 3 years when he was there, and he was trying to tell them like, no, y'all wasn't a part of that team. You didn't know what I went through when I was playing against the Pistons and the Celtics. Like he just wanted everybody to like get to not his level, but wanted to play up to their highest level, and achieve what was a championship, and that's what he did.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at Michael Jordan's career, like everything he did, he could argue he's the greatest athlete of all time because everything he did off the court, with Gatorade and the Jordan brand. So like a lot of people, look up to Michael Jordan, when it comes to that. But the Super Bowl right here, I think is going to be a classic Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
we deserve it. The year we've been through with COVID and all. And I just wanted to ask you, everything going on with COVID this year, the past year, 2020, like how have you been dealing with that, on and off the court?
Just trying to remain distant from people that don't live here or like everybody, but just wearing a mask. Texas is pretty wide open right now. It's about, I think restaurants are at 50% capacity, and just it's open right now, but just staying distant. I mean, I'm at home majority of the time, staying safe and just taking care of myself. But that's about it. I'm not really all around the place, just at the gym or cryo or like 3 other places, but that's about it.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm up here in Buffalo, New York, dealing with the snow and the cold weather. I'm a Florida boy. I'm from South Florida, down there near Miami. So it's been an adjustment getting used to the cold, and I've been up here since last March dealing with this pandemic. But yeah, most of my time I spend when I'm not working on this podcast is definitely going to the gym, and then I just go out and do grocery shopping, watch TV, stuff like that. I don't really go too crazy. Like I have a friend over to watch a game or go out to eat and stuff. There's not too much to do up here in Buffalo. I'm waiting for them to open the border up so I can go to Canada and check out Toronto. But I did get to go to Niagara Falls, and when the Bills were doing real well, like everybody was hoping they were going to get to the Super Bowl. And me being a Miami Dolphins fan, dealing with the Bills Mafia up here, I was kind of rooting for the Bills to get to the Super Bowl because I know how much the Bills mean to the city in Buffalo, and them being one of the only professional sports teams in the area other than the Buffalo Sabres, which is a hockey team. So it would have meant a lot for them to get to the Super Bowl and obviously face off against Tom Brady, who beat him so many times in the AFC East when he was with the Patriots. That would have been something, but it wasn't meant to be. But I'm sure the Bills will be back next year, just like my Dolphins. And when I look back at the Bills season, like at the end of that game, Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver, was the only Bills player to stay on the field to be able to watch that to watch the Chiefs celebrate. And what did you think of that? Like him being the only Bills player to watch that. He must have been thinking to himself, like that's gonna be me next year, and I'm gonna learn from this, and it's a learning experience. And a lot of guys have to go through losing to be able to win. Like you're not gonna be a winner your whole career. You have to take loss and defeat and learn from it and learn not to make the same mistakes. Like what's your mindset on that?
Just like you said, it's a learning experience. Staying out there, seeing all the confetti fall and the other team celebrating, going to the Super Bowl. It's just all a learning experience, and taking that all in and just saying like, this is my motivation for next season. Come out, play strong, and just potentially get to that and like overcome that and get to the Super Bowl one day. So all motivation and learning.
Yeah, definitely. So I see you guys have games coming up this Saturday. You're gonna be playing this Saturday. I guess because nobody wants to play on Super Bowl Sunday. Everybody will maybe be getting ready for the Super Bowl and all. So you guys got games coming up this Saturday. And what else is going on as far as with the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League and with the Lewisville Leopards? What do you guys got coming up? You want to just go ahead and like just promote yourself and what you're going to be doing? What do you got coming up for yourself and your teammates?
Well, we're still gonna play in the Undiscovered League, but in March, middle of March, we should be having the TBL training camp because the TBL season starts April 9th. So basically, just preparing for that. That's about it. Just you gotta stay tuned. If anything does, get going or anything.
Definitely, man. Well, it's been great. It's been great having you on the show, man. I really like your game. Watching you and covering your highlights, and I wish you continued success. Moving forward, I'm going to keep following the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League and the TBL Lewisville Leopards. I hope you guys. I think you guys start your season in April, so I'll definitely be following you guys. And I wish you the best of luck with any scouts coming out to watch you, and whatever you're doing on and off the court. Just keep up the good work, man. We definitely stay in touch. I have you on LinkedIn and Twitter and all that, so you could definitely know where to find me. Hit me up, and we'll definitely have you on the show again, man. Looking forward to what you're doing and your teammates. And I wish you the best of luck in the future. It was great having you on. Jared, Jetpack J. Henderson, check him out on Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. He's with the TBL Lewisville Leopards. You can find him on social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Jared, man, all the best, man. I wish you the best great having you on the show. We'll definitely look out for you and your teammates, and we'll definitely have you on again soon, man. Just keep in touch, man. All the best.
Thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure, and talk to you, and hopefully be on here soon again. So,
yeah, man. Good luck, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Jetpack J. Henderson, rising young basketball star from the TBL, Lewisville Leopards, and CYM Undiscovered League. Look out for this kid. He's up and coming star on the rise. A lot of scouts been checking him out. My friends are going to be coming on the show soon to talk some football, do a Super Bowl 55 preview, and we'll be reviewing the Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade, talking about some other potential trades in the NFL with Deshaun Watson, and been hearing some stuff about Andrew Luck. So hopefully my friend Ryan will be getting on the show soon here. Jared, I don't know if you want to stay on the show and keep talking, man. You're welcome to if you want, but I don't know if you're I don't know how your schedule's looking, man. If you're busy, what else you got going on, man? I know you're probably a busy guy. You got your teammates back there, man. So I don't know if you guys got to get going for practice or something, man. But
yeah, you got it. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good, man. We'd like to have you on more to talk football or whatever you want to talk about, man. But if you got to get going, I totally understand. It was great having you on, and great meeting you, and we'll definitely be in touch, and we'll definitely have you on the show again, and definitely have Bosovich on the show, as well as some of the other guys. I'll tell all the other guys all the best, and you guys continue to stay safe, all right?
All right, you too, sir. All
right. Thank you, man. Have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Jetpack J. Henderson, all the best to him. I wish him the best. My next guest is we just got him here. Let me get him on.
Hey.
My next guest on the show is my friend, fellow FAU alumni, host of his own podcast, Return of the Mack, two-time back-to-back fantasy football champion in the League of Champions, my boy, Ryan, Big Mack, Mackey. Welcome to the show, my friend.
How you doing, man? Rob. It's great. I'm glad that you're doing this, man. It's come full circle where you were a guest and then you became part of my show for so many years, and now I see you doing your thing. I'm grateful to be on, man. I'm glad to see that you're doing this. I'm doing good. Thank you for the intro. I'm just glad to be here and ready to get on with this Super Bowl. Should be a wild one.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I like the New York Yankees hat, and obviously the FAU hoodie you got on there, man. Definitely might have to cop one myself.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. So yeah, me and Ryan, we go way back to our FAU days. We took some classes together at FAU. I was on his podcast for a while, myself and his friend Brian James Emmanuel, also known as the GM. So we did Return of the Mack for a while. We had you guys have had over 100 episodes. So you've been doing it for a while. And now, again, I want to congratulate you and your girlfriend on your new baby, and everything you're doing down there in South Florida, working with FAU, doing the football games and the basketball games for Hubbard Radio, all the production stuff you're doing. I want to wish you all the best with that, and obviously congratulations, on being a father. I know that's a big thing to be a father. I'm not one yet. Hopefully, one day, I can be one. But I know you got a lot. I know you got a lot going on, man. You're a busy guy. I hope you can get your podcast back up and going again. Return of the Mack. I definitely love to see you guys do your thing on there. You and the GM and whatever guests you have going on. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. We got Super Bowl 55 coming up on Sunday. It should be a classic game. Who do you like to win the Super Bowl? And give us a score and prediction. Let's go ahead and break down the game. What do you think is going to happen on Sunday?
So we're going right into the scoring predictions and my predict to win. So here's what I think. This is going to be, obviously, everybody knows this is going to be as high scoring as possible. I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are really going to want this game to be that fast paced. I think they're going to do whatever it takes to really establish the run with those running backs, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, and just dink and dunk like they've been doing all playoffs long. They're going to try to keep the ball out of the hands of Patrick Mahomes. And I was thinking about it the other day. I'm 31 years old, and it's hard for me to admit this as a Dolphins fan by saying that I've spent a third of my life by watching Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And considering the fact that this guy has a chance to win his 7th more than any other franchise, let alone player, have 7 rings out of his 10 Super Bowl appearances, I got to go with odds. I'm an odds kind of guy, and I'll go with the 70% anytime. I mean, it takes some kind of a miracle play or something to, in that regard to beat Tom Brady. And I just feel like Tampa Bay, as soon as he got there, they've elevated their play. I love Mahomes. I love what Kansas City is doing. But I think that when you play Tom Brady, you have to play perfect football. And, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, they've been coming along as of late. It's not Tom Brady who's really been the heroic one in Tampa Bay. It's really the Tampa Bay defense who's been the unsung hero. And I think that their defense, they're getting it done with Shaq Barrett. Jason Pierre-Paul is playing completely out of his mind. If they could force some pressure on Patrick Mahomes, one thing that people aren't really, should take more into account is for the first time in quite a while, they're going to get Vita Vea back. So him and Ndamukong Suh playing healthy for the Super Bowl, I like Tampa in this game, Rob. If I had to put a scoring prediction on it, I can't see how Kansas City scores less than 28 points in this game. Give me, I'll say 34. Let me say 34-28 Buccaneers. That would be my final prediction. Then I don't think that Tom Brady would go ahead and win the MVP in this one. I think it's going to be a defensive effort. So if you're kind of like a betting guy and you like odds, give me Shaq Barrett as the MVP of this game.
Definitely agree. You look at that Tampa Bay, Buccaneers defense. Those guys you mentioned, Vita Vea are going to be back. That Bucs defense has really helped them a lot. I was watching Colin Cowherd show, and he was, mentioning the 10 best players in that game, and a lot of those guys are on the Bucs defense, and they get those guys back there. But their defense has been playing phenomenal. Now, my prediction's not too far off from yours, and I just had Jared Jetpack J. Henderson from the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League and Lewisville Leopards on the show give his prediction. Our predictions were pretty similar. He went 41-35 Bucs. I like Bucs 41-34. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Kansas City's offense is very hard to stop. I think they're going to put up points, but I think it comes down to that Tampa Bay Bucs defense. Antoine Winfield, Devin White. They get Vita Vea back. Ndamukong Suh, obviously a guy we know very well. He played for the Dolphins. That pass rush is going to be huge against Patrick Mahomes, and the key for Tampa Bay is going to be able to play with a lead, and keep this game close. You need to be able to play with a lead against Kansas City, and
Sorry, Robin.
That'll get What happened? We having some technical difficulties here. You hear me? We're having some technical issues. Ryan, you hear me? You there?
Sorry.
All right, no problem, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just having a little bit of audio problems here. We should get Ryan on.
Sorry, I lost you on the.
No problem. We're gonna get Ryan back on here in a minute. We just lost him for a minute.
I got you. I got you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right. I set an alarm for your show, and then of course the alarm kicks in, and then I couldn't hear you anymore. But yeah, I did hear your prediction and your scoring prediction. It's gonna be very similar. A lot of people are leaning towards Tampa because it's so hard to go against Tom Brady and the Bucs at this point. And you know that any time that Kansas City is going to touch the ball, they're going to try to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. They also are expected to have a somewhat healthy Sammy Watkins in this game, so that's just adding on to Patrick Mahomes' arsenal of weapons. So we saw what happened the last time these two teams met up. I mean, Tyreek Hill just went completely off. If you had him in fantasy, you most likely won your week. I mean, the guy had 200 yards in the first quarter, so they're going to do whatever they can to limit him. But I don't really know how you could eliminate a guy like that. A guy that could take over games quickly. So they're going to have to do what they can to stop Tyreek Hill. I don't think they have the speed on their, out of their DBs, but they're going to do what they can to slow guys like that down, and that's not easy at all.
Yeah, you can't teach speed. I think what the Bucs are going to have to do is probably try to double cover Tyreek Hill, or probably play some zone. But if you double team Tyreek Hill, you know what happens. Travis Kelce, that leaves him open, and he's a monster to stop in his own right. Going back to Tyreek Hill, I played him that week in fantasy. I believe I was going to get against Manny, and totally torched me in that first quarter.
Ooh.
Had like 68 points in that game. So
yes.
I remember that. The first time I went up against him, he didn't have such a great game, but he did. But I'm sure the Bucs defense remembers that game, and I'm sure they're going to be game planning pretty hard for Tyreek Hill. But you mentioned Sammy Watkins going to be back healthy for them. That he could be a key factor in this game. He's been out a lot recently and missed some playoff games. Getting him back healthy obviously helps. And, they have McCole Hardman, and another guy who also might be a factor in this game, and he hasn't really played much, is Le'Veon Bell. What do you think a healthy Le'Veon Bell does? And if, Clyde Edwards-Helaire can be healthy, the Chiefs are, totally loaded on offense. And going to the Bucs side of the ball, they'll get Antonio Brown back for this game, for the Super Bowl. He missed the NFC Championship game. So you look at the Bucs; they're going to be healthy. All these guys that are questionable, these injuries, they're not missing this game. This is the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl 55. It's the biggest game of their career. Now, Ryan, I already got your score prediction on the game. I wanted to ask you, who do you think wins MVP? You're talking about the defensive side of the ball. Who do you think is the MVP for Super Bowl 55?
So Super Bowl 55, I know this is – it most likely is going to go to offensive players. And if you look at the strengths and weaknesses on this team, I can't say I could see Le'Veon Bell or Helaire having a big game, because the Bucs are so good at stopping the run. They're one of the top defenses in stopping the run. But on the flip side of that, if you're Tampa Bay, you really want to attack the interior of Kansas City. They are number one in guarding the perimeter wide receivers. I don't think this is going to be a big game for Mike Evans. I think you're going to have to do a lot of work inside with Rob Gronkowski and Chris Godwin. But my MVP for the Bucs is Leonard Fournette. I think that this guy has a secretly big performance in store for him. You're starting to see Tampa use him out of the backfield. Tom Brady likes to throw to his running backs, and Kansas City has struggled. They struggle stopping the run. I see a big game for Leonard Fournette. If it's going to be an offensive MVP, I think that the Bucs offense is actually going to go through guys like him and Ronald Jones. I just think that Leonard Fournette, he's a different playoff running back. We saw what happened when he got, basically released from the Jaguars and goes on to Tampa. I just see a big game from him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes this game with over 100 yards rushing and at least 2 touchdowns, making him possibly. And how crazy would it be, Leonard Fournette, a guy that got cut from the Jacksonville Jaguars, to be the Super Bowl MVP? That would just be my pick.
Definitely, that's a good choice. He's also one of my favorites as well. I believe the last time we had an MVP win in the Super Bowl, I believe the last time a running back won Super Bowl MVP in the Super Bowl, we have to go back to, I don't know what Super Bowl it was, but it was Green Bay versus Denver. Terrell Davis won MVP for the Broncos. That was the last time I think a running back won Super Bowl MVP. So definitely, Leonard Fournette is a guy. He's been on a hot streak lately. He's been running the ball very effectively. My MVP for this game, and I think it would be a great thing if he won it. I don't know if he's going to run it. I don't know if he's going to win it because he hasn't been continuously healthy. But my MVP for this game is Antonio Brown. This is a guy, everything he's been through, getting traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Oakland Raiders, then getting cut by the Raiders, going to the Patriots, playing one game, being out of the league with this domestic violence dispute, and then Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Antonio signing there. It would just be a great thing for him to be able to win it, everything he's been through. But I'm not sure if he's going to win it. That offense has so many weapons, and Brady just has so many guys to throw the ball to. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Scotty Miller. They go to the running backs. They give it to Leonard Fournette. They give it to Ronald Jones. It's just they're just so loaded. So it's just anybody's guess. But I definitely like your pick there with Leonard Fournette. I think this is a guy who got disrespected. He was a top running back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He made it to the AFC Championship with them a few years ago, and actually went up against his current quarterback Tom Brady, who was with the Patriots then, and now he's playing with them. So Leonard Fournette is definitely a guy that could steal the show and win Super Bowl MVP. He's a very capable running back, and he's definitely been overlooked and underrated. So he's definitely a guy that have a big game. I could see him winning Super Bowl MVP, but it's really anybody's guess. I just expect a good game, a classic game. Everything we've been through this past year, dealing with the COVID situation, I just want to see a good competitive game, and it's really anybody's guess. If you're a betting man, good luck betting on that game. The Chiefs are favored by 3.5. The Chiefs are favored by 3.5, but you can't bet against Tom Brady. Everything he's done, and speaking of Tom Brady, the guy is on the verge of winning his 7th Super Bowl. I hear he's really focused on the game. His wife and kids actually left him alone in his house for like the whole week or the last 12 days to prepare for the game. I want to get your thoughts on Tom Brady. Like, if he wins this Super Bowl and it's his 7th Super Bowl, do you believe he's the greatest team sport athlete of all time? Do you think he passes Michael Jordan? Because a lot of people look at Michael Jordan as the greatest team sport athlete of all time. You think Brady passes Jordan as the greatest team sport athlete of all time if he wins this Super Bowl on Sunday?
I would think so. It comes down to championships. It comes down to big game performances, and there's nobody that has been more clutch in the history of the NFL or in sports period than a Tom Brady. If he goes ahead and wins this game and gets more rings than Michael Jordan, I mean, what we're seeing in the modern day era is just basically unheard of in terms of overall consistency and what Brady has really meant. And it's funny that a couple of, diehard Dolphins fans are talking about Tom Brady or are finding a way to talk about Brady year in and year out. But I will say this, if Brady finds a way to win this Super Bowl, giving him 7 championships more than any other franchise, the fact that he's, as old, what is Brady, like 43 years old right now? 43?
Yeah, he's 43. 43, yep.
43 still playing at that high level. I think that he most definitely does become the greatest athlete, in professional sports of all time. And not only that, but in NFL history, no team has ever hosted a Super Bowl in their own stadium. No team has ever done that. And now he'll be the first to, lead a team to host a Super Bowl in their own stadium and win a Super Bowl in his own stadium. I know Tampa, they can't maximize the fan count right now with due to COVID. I didn't get the final counts on how many fans are going to be in attendance, but if you're a Bucs fan, you got to be just basking in your glory, to quote the great Keith Lee from WWE. But I mean, the fact that this team is, has a chance to win a Super Bowl in their own stadium, it just adds on to Tom Brady's legacy even more. So yes, I do think that if he seals the deal, I think he'll be the greatest sports athlete of all time.
Yeah, I can't be mad at that either. It's hard to not think that. I think the fan count, for this game is going to be maybe like 15,000, maybe 20,000. I'm not sure, but yeah, Tampa Bay. You look at their road to the Super Bowl. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the New York Giants road a few years ago, and a lot of people are comparing the Super Bowl to back in 2007, where you look at the Chiefs are like the Patriots that went undefeated all year. This unstoppable offense, great head coach, great weapons, and the Bucs are kind of like the Giants. And that's a Super Bowl we both follow because we're Dolphins fans, and we don't want the Patriots to get that undefeated season. And most of us are rooting for the Giants to win that Super Bowl, so the Dolphins could keep that undefeated season that go perfect and hang their head on that. That seems like all we have to hang our head on. But the Bucs, first team to play at home in the Super Bowl. They won 3 straight playoff games. Had a tough road. Had to go to Washington and beat a tough Redskins team with a great defense. Then had to go to New Orleans and play a team in their own division that won NFC South that beat the crap out of them earlier this year at home in Tampa and beat them the first game of the year in New Orleans, and then had to go to Green Bay and play a Packers team that they had already beat pretty bad earlier in the year at home, and were able to go into Green Bay in the cold weather with Aaron Rodgers and the way that offense is playing and win that game. And now they get to host the Super Bowl, and they're at home. It's Super Bowl 55. It's Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl. 5 + 5 = 10. It's Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl. Everything seems to be working out for Tampa Bay. They're going to have a ton of fans there, probably driving up from Miami. I'm a Florida guy. I know you're from New York, but you grew up your whole life in Florida. Even though Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl and he's on the Bucs, it's hard not to like a Florida team and hard not to root for a Florida team to want to win the Super Bowl. We had the Lightning win the Stanley Cup earlier this year. The Tampa Bay Rays also got to the World Series and they lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now we got the Tampa Bay Bucs in the Super Bowl going up against this this juggernaut team in the Kansas City Chiefs. And to me, you look at Patrick Mahomes, I mean, the future's so bright for this kid being 24, 25 years old. He's going to get to so many other Super Bowls. This Chiefs team is loaded. They're not going anywhere. You know, this kid has his whole career ahead of him. You know, would it be nice for him to win the Super Bowl against Brady and win back-to-back? Yes, but, I mean, he's going to have his whole career to get back to more Super Bowls. And, you know, I do believe even if he beats Brady in this game, you can't put him in the GOAT category yet, can you? You can't say he's better than Brady. I mean, he might be well on his way, but you can't say he's the GOAT yet.
You know,
you got to give him another 15 years at least.
It's too early to. I've been calling the GOAT, you know, a lot of people the GOAT, just you know, because it's been associated. Oh, that guy's the GOAT. This guy is the GOAT. It's sports is all about opinion. You know what I mean? There's no list that says who the greatest of all time is. It just comes down to opinion. And, you know, I know there, you know, on a lot of sport networks, on a lot of podcasts, on a lot of shows, everybody is really talking about Tom Brady and what he's really done. But the fact that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have gone to back-to-back Super Bowls, it's unbelievable to see what Patrick Mahomes has done in a very short time. I mean, the guy has won an MVP. He's had multiple championship appearances. He has a Super Bowl under his belt, and in his fourth year, being in the NFL, he has a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls. I mean, it's remarkable what the guy is doing. And I don't want to take anything away from him because statistically, this guy will have the numbers maybe 10, 15 years down the road to be the greatest of all time. But no, it's a little bit too early to say that. I don't think – the funny thing about this Super Bowl, Rob, is that I don't think that a win or loss does anything to the legacy of either player. If Tom Brady wins this loss, he has still gotten to a Super Bowl 10 times. If Patrick Mahomes loses this game, it's not going to do much to his legacy. It will just give him his first Super Bowl loss. So the interesting narrative about this Super Bowl is that it's the greatest quarterback right now against the greatest quarterback of all time. And I think a lot of people want to see who wants to come out victorious. I would have personally liked a Green Bay, Kansas City Super Bowl as well. I thought the scoring would have been through the roof in that one. And you know that Aaron Rodgers likes to score quickly. But let's not take away from what Patrick Mahomes is doing, just being in that moment. And the fact that this guy, since he has stepped into the NFL, he's done remarkable things in his career, and we can only think that he's going to accomplish more as the years go by. But yeah, I mean, if this guy wins back-to-back Super Bowls, I wouldn't call him the GOAT, but I don't think that he'll be very far from it.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you on that. I don't think the legacy really affects these guys too much either, because, I mean, look at Brady. He's got 6 Super Bowls. You know, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, it would be his first loss in the Super Bowl. I think, you know, football is a team sport, and you got to look at some of these other guys in the Super Bowl, like Antonio Brown, you know, Le'Veon Bell. You got to look at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller. You know, these guys, they've never been to the Super Bowl before. So for them to win a Super Bowl, it would mean so much for them being there first. Whereas Tom Brady, he's won 6 of these, so it's like he's used to it. You know, Patrick Mahomes had that feeling last year winning it. The Chiefs won it last year. They're going to be, you know, back to many more. For somebody like a Le'Veon Bell or an Antonio Brown or an Ndamukong Suh or an Antonio Winfield or a Devin White or, you know, endless names going on and on. For one of these guys to win the Super Bowl would be Leonard Fournette, obviously, that you mentioned before, Ronald Jones. You know, for one of these guys to win a Super Bowl would mean so much more to them being there first than, you know, Brady, who's won 6. And then obviously it would mean a lot for Mahomes and the Chiefs to go back to back, because then we would start getting that dynasty talk and repeat and all that stuff like that. But, you know, football is really a team sport. Yes, you have a star player who leads you and all that stuff, but football is a team sport, and you cannot win in football unless you have a great team. And sometimes people kind of forget that. Like, look at Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not, even though they call the team the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like Skip Bayless says, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what he likes to call it. And he calls Tom Brady by his middle name, Thomas, you know, Edward Brady. It's really about the team, because Tom Brady probably would have stayed in New England had he had a better team around him. And it just, they didn't want to go out and get the weapons for him. But now he has all the weapons in the world and a great defense. So that's why they're in the Super Bowl. And then you look at Kansas City. It's not just Patrick Mahomes. Look at the team around him. It's the team. You know,
right.
Whereas an individual sport. Yeah. Whereas an individual sport like boxing, it's just about one guy. Like you look at Floyd Mayweather or Michael Phelps or any kind of individual sports about the one guy. But football is really a team sport. Yes, you have a leader and you have a star player, but you have to be able to collectively put these guys together on a team and have chemistry to win a championship.
Rob, it's funny that you mentioned that, because what this Super Bowl, another interesting narrative about this, is that you have a Kansas City team where they're basically homegrown. Andy Reid drafted a lot of these guys and they became all pro players. But in Tampa, you got Tom and a bunch of his friends, guys that were casted off in other situations in other teams, guys like Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette, who you mentioned, and Ndamukong Suh. Who's had bigger chips on their shoulder than three of those guys? I mean, Antonio Brown was seconds, maybe milliseconds away from getting kicked out of the league. Then he finds, himself on a team with Tom Brady, his friend, the one guy that believed in him, and now he's coming back, making his first Super Bowl appearance. And like you said, he could be the unsung hero of this game and win MVP by any means. But it's basically a homegrown versus a cast off of players that have really been, almost forgotten about. So I think it's two very interesting rosters. They've found different ways to get there. Whether you can't just focus on the quarterback play here. It's an entire story of just a bunch of players, getting together and either, taking advantage in the draft, or things didn't work out with another team that they were with previously, and now they find themselves fighting for football's most prestigious prize. So that's going to be even more interesting as we head into Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I can't wait till Sunday. I think we all deserve a classic Super Bowl after the year we've been through, dealing with COVID and all. It just sucks. We're not going to have the full fans there, and a lot of the media coverage, won't be there. Like, they didn't have the Super Bowl experience and opening night and stuff like that. So you kind of miss all that stuff. But they're still doing the interviews, virtually, Zoom and all that stuff. So, it's good that they're still doing that. And, going back to what you said before on your Super Bowl predictions, Green Bay, Kansas City would have been a great Super Bowl to watch, because then you had the State Farm Bowl with Mahomes and Rodgers. And, Green Bay last year losing that NFC Championship game to – Green Bay losing that NFC Championship game to San Francisco and getting their hats handed to them. And this year, it seemed like everything was perfect. They're hosting the NFC Championship game at home. You got Tom Brady and the warm weather Bucs team coming up north to cold frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And, the Bucs just went in there and handed it to them. And what can I say? The Packers got Brady'd, and, you look back at that game on some of the plays in that NFC Championship game, the drop by, I think it was Alan Lazard, the 2-point conversion, or I think it was St. Brown. And then, also Aaron Rodgers' decision to throw the ball at the end of the game instead of try to run it in for that touchdown. They kicked the field goal instead of trying to go for the touchdown on 4th down. Like those plays, kind of made a difference. And, I thought Green Bay was going to get to the Super Bowl. I thought they had all the advantages in the AFC. I was kind of rooting for Buffalo. I live in Buffalo now. How Bills Mafia is up here. It's tough being a Dolphins fan up here, but it would have been nice to see Buffalo get back to the Super Bowl, even though they are our division rival, and I am a Dolphins fan. And all the Bills Mafia hates me up here. I'm not too liked and not too wanted, but man, if you ever come up here to Buffalo, man, to see what the Bills mean to this community up here, other than the Sabres being the only professional sports team up here, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's like a college town field. It's like a college town feel. And, I got a chance to go to the Bills Stadium, earlier this year in the summer, and just kind of like walk around, and their training facilities right next door to the stadium. And it kind of reminds me of FAU Stadium. It has that college feel. And, Bills Mafia, like when the Bills play on TV, it's like a national holiday here, man. Like, everybody goes crazy. It's like they're the only big sports team in town. You look at, like, down in Miami, you have so many things to do. You got the Heat, you got the Marlins, you got the beach, you got South Beach, you got so much stuff to do, go boating, there's so many things to do. And it's like, like Bills Mafia, the way they get up for these games and support their team, no matter what, like, they're some of the craziest fans in the league, and these fans go hard. So I really respect that, about Bills Mafia, even though I'm a Dolphins fan, and, it would have been just nice for the city of Buffalo for them to get back to the Super Bowl and have a chance to win it, and, go up against Green Bay. I picked Buffalo and Green Bay in the Super Bowl. I think that would have been a great Super Bowl, because you have pretty much two cold weather teams going at it that play in cities that are like small town cities that don't get a lot of attention. Green Bay, the Packers were like the only thing in Green Bay You know, they don't have an owner. There's not much to do there. You know, Buffalo, Green Bay would have been a hell of a Super Bowl. Even, you know, Buffalo, Tampa Bay would have been a great Super Bowl because Buffalo would have got a chance to go up against their old friend and nemesis. They killed him all those years in the AFC East, Tom Brady. And then, you know, for them to go up against Brady or Green Bay to win their first Super Bowl would have been something. But it wasn't meant to be for Buffalo. They got to the AFC Championship and lost. They had a hell of a year. They still have those 4 losses on their resume, going 0-4 in the Super Bowl. It's got to be tough to be a Bills fan. But I know Buffalo is going to be a team to reckon with a long time. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Rob, being a diehard Dolphins fan, and you make the move to Buffalo. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried for you because I'm like, you know, those Buffalo fans are crazy. They jump through tables and everything. I'm hoping that they don't put, you know, I watch wrestling. I've watched wrestling a really long time. Those things that they do stunts. They'll do wrestling moves through tables. I don't know where that whole thing started, being a fan in Buffalo, crashing through the tables. And God, it's just a bunch of drunken fans, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like these Buffalo fans take it to the next level. And there are teams and there are fan bases that just deserve to be there. And the remarkable thing about the NFL this year was that even we didn't know what to predict in 2020, but we saw 2 franchises end their playoff droughts. We saw the Buffalo Bills win a playoff game, get to the AFC Championship game. You know, unfortunately, they ran into the juggernaut that was Kansas City. But we also saw the Cleveland Browns, you know, finally get there. They were eliminated by the Chiefs too. But you're starting to see these franchises overcome their playoff futility, and we're hoping that as Dolphin fans, we could finally get a playoff win because it's been a while. You know, we haven't had a playoff win since the year 2000. You got to go back over 20 years. The fact that we haven't had a playoff win. So I honestly was happy for Buffalo fans. Even though they're obviously a division rival, was I rooting for them in the championship game? No, I'm never going to really root for the Bills. And, you know, there's no disrespect for you because you live there now and you're around people in the town and stuff. But I personally can never root for the Bills. But I was very encouraged to see the growth, not only from them, but their star quarterback, Josh Allen. He's a guy that helped carry me to my second back-to-back title. And just watching him over the this season, I think it was the best overall jump from one year to another. I mean, this guy, if you want to compare it to any quarterback of years past, Josh Allen had a lot of John Elway in him, what he was doing with the football, just gunning it downfield and using his mobility and not really being afraid to take chances. I like what Buffalo did, and I think that if Miami can learn something from Buffalo, it's that you got to stick with your guy. You got to surround him with weapons, and you just got to put a system around that he and the coaching staff could believe in. And I definitely commend Buffalo for how they performed this year, getting all the way to the AFC Championship game. I mean, it was a great year for them, but unfortunately, like I said before, they just ran into a loaded Kansas City team that they couldn't put up with and keep up with offensively. So we are where we are, and the Dolphins and the executives and even Tua, they have to learn from this. They have to trust the process, and hopefully we'll finally get that playoff win next year that we've been craving for over 20 years now.
Definitely agree with that. And we'll get into some Dolphins talk in a minute and some trade talk in a minute. But yeah, for the Bills to get to the AFC Championship this game, I mean, for the Bills to get to the AFC Championship game this year was definitely unexpected. You know, they beat the Colts in a tough wild card game, and then took care of the Ravens. But like you said, they went up against a Chiefs team that was a juggernaut. And when you get into these type of games, experience matters. I mean, you look at what the Chiefs did against the Cleveland Browns after the Browns went into Pittsburgh and pretty much handed it to the Steelers. The Chiefs at home, Patrick Mahomes gets hurt with about 7 minutes left in that game. Our old buddy Chad Henne, backup quarterback for the Chiefs, comes in, and they're able to hold on and win that game 22-17. And I was thinking to myself, how can the Browns not win this game? You know, Patrick Mahomes just got hurt. There's 7 minutes left in the game. The Browns have a great running game with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and Baker Mayfield was playing well. How can the Browns not win this game? This is their opportunity. This is the opportunity to go into Arrowhead and knock out the defending champions. And they're down 22-17, 7 minutes left. I'm thinking the Browns have to get this. They have to get this, and it just didn't happen. Chad Henne made some plays down the stretch, threw one ball to Tyreek Hill. He stayed in bounds and kneeled in bounds, and that was the game. And they found a way to win that game. And I was just totally impressed with, how they found a way to win that game without Mahomes when he got knocked out with that concussion, and then going into the AFC Championship game, scoring 38 straight points against a Bills team going into that game that had been unstoppable on offense with Josh Allen throwing lights out to Stephon Diggs and everything. And it's just amazing, how the Chiefs find different ways to win. It's like they're so hard to stop, they're so hard to beat.
Well, Andy Reid, I mean, this guy probably has the biggest balls in the NFL to continue to run your offense with, your star quarterback out. Chad Henne, as many Dolphin fans know, never had any faith in the guy. A lot of us called him check down Chad because he can only see 5 yards ahead of him. I mean, this guy was heavily criticized, didn't work out for Miami, but somehow, some way he finds, Andy Reid believes in his guys. He believes in his backup quarterback. I remember when Patrick Mahomes had the dislocated knee, Andy Reid immediately said, you know what, I got to find a suitable guy. He goes to another Dolphins quarterback, Matt Moore. Matt Moore ends up going, I think, 2-1 without Patrick Mahomes in the next 3 games. So the fact that Andy Reid continues to believe in these guys, and then Chad Henne showed, the fact that he had faith, his coach had faith in him by getting that scramble, which almost set up a first down. It set up a 4th and goal. Then he does that little dump off quick hitch play to Tyreek Hill, which allowed Kansas City to run the clock out and kneel the ball down. It's amazing what Andy Reid gets out of his players, the utmost faith in the top, from the top to the bottom of the roster. And you're starting to see that everything is coming into full circle for Andy Reid. I mean, this is a guy that lost 4 NFC championship games, 4 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl in Philly. And now he comes to Kansas City and says, you know what, I'm not making those same mistakes anymore. I'm going to believe in my guys, believe in the talent. And sure enough, it's paying dividends.
Definitely. I'm so happy for Andy Reid, everything he's been through, as a coach. Getting Patrick Mahomes was probably the best thing that happened to him. When they won the Super Bowl last year against the 49ers in Miami, I was just so happy that he, got the monkey off his back. And now for him to be in his 2nd Super Bowl in a row and have the chance to repeat, and the way the Chiefs are playing, they're going to be hard to beat. The Bucs are going to have to play pretty much a perfect game to beat them. And they did play earlier this year, and it was a very close game down there in Tampa. And, obviously Tyreek Hill went off. It was 27-24 the final. They played down in November. I expect a close game, and, I expect the Bucs to definitely look at that film and make the necessary adjustments. And, we're in for a hell of a Super Bowl on Sunday. It's anybody's guess who's going to win. So just expect a classic. We deserve it after the year we've had with COVID and all. And, I just look for a great game. But moving on from Super Bowl 55, I wanted to get into trade talk in NFL. We had a big trade over this last week. Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Lions gets traded to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick. What do you think of this trade, and who do you think won this trade? What do you think about this trade, moving forward? Which team is in a better spot?
Well, this is basically a show-me type trade. It's a show-me trade for Jared Goff heading over to Matt Stafford heading over to the LA Rams. Matt Stafford has never had, he's only had a top 5 defense 1 time in his entire career, and that was the year that they went to the playoffs and lost that wild card round to Dallas. I remember the end of that Detroit Lions game. Detroit got Dallas got a terrible non-pass interference call. I remember Brennan Pettigrew in that game was wide open for Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was trying to get the game-winning drive going. Dallas committed a horrible pass interference call against Brennan Pettigrew. I believe Sean Lee was in coverage, and it was a flag that was never thrown. So that was the only chance that I believe that was 2014. It was right before Ndamukong Suh left. So I think it was right around 2015 was the last time we've seen Matt Stafford in the playoffs. Now he gets the trade to the LA Rams. And this is just overall a guy like Stan Kroenke, Les Miles. This is a belief in a coach. This is them saying to Sean McVay, all right, you don't believe in Jared Goff? Then go get your guy. Who is your guy? Is it somebody that you're going to get in the draft? If you don't believe that Jared Goff is that guy, what do you think we should do? And this is basically Sean McVay saying, you know what, I believe in Matt Stafford. I believe in his veteran leadership. I don't think we're seeing Matt Stafford's best ball yet because he's been on a a franchise that hasn't won many games over the last couple of years. So when I saw the trade for, two future first round picks, a third in this year's draft, I thought that the Lions won immediately because the Lions are trying to build something long term. Just hired Dan Campbell. Anthony Lynn is the new offensive coordinator. And then you also get a quarterback in Jared Goff that has been to a Super Bowl just 2 years ago. So you get the better parts of that trade. You also get two future first round picks. That's how you rebuild. It's not by going through free agency and overspending in free agency or who has the most cap room. It's who has the most draft picks and who can turn these players into dominant. Who can turn these picks into dominant players. So immediately, I thought the Lions won this trade. I've never been a Matt Stafford guy. Since he was drafted number 1 overall, did some great things at Georgia. I know he passed for 5,000 yards more than a couple times in his career when he had Calvin Johnson. We haven't seen Matt Stafford's best ball, but there's a reason why the Detroit Lions hadn't won a playoff game since 1991. Matt Stafford, if he was that good enough, you probably would have thought that the Lions would have had one playoff game. I know he didn't have much talent around him, but there's just no excuses for the guy anymore. He is in Los Angeles now. He has a top. The Rams finished the year with the number one defense overall in terms of yards. And now you also get two studly receivers, Robert Woods. You also have Cooper Kupp, a dominant running game. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with the running back situation, but it looks like Cam Akers is going to be the guy moving forward long term. So you got the running game. You have a better offensive line that you had in Detroit. You have the top 5 or arguably the number 1 defense in the league. It's time to show off. It's time for Matt Stafford to finally win some games. But overall, I thought the Lions won this trade. They built for the long term. They got a quarterback that has been to a Super Bowl before, and I like Dan Campbell. I'm a Dan Campbell fan. I thought that he deserved an opportunity. He didn't get that opportunity to be the head coach with Miami. I love the Anthony Lynn hire. He's a guy that knows how to utilize running backs and his weapons around him. He just things fell through as the head coach of the LA Chargers, but now he gets to run his offense. The Lions do, and I think this trade goes more towards the Lions' way. I like what they did. Like I said before, the future picks, adding Jared Goff. But now it puts a ton of pressure on Matt Stafford, and we're going to just have to see if he delivers.
Definitely agree with you there. You make some good points. I look at the Detroit Lions long term. They get a quarterback. He's been to a Super Bowl, and then they get those 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick moving forward. That's definitely going to help them out. And I think with the Rams, they just pretty much gave up on Jared Goff. I mean, after he had that thumb injury and couldn't really finish out the year and didn't look great in the playoffs, they just pretty much gave up on this guy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, they were just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago with this guy, and he had a great year. And obviously he doesn't have as strong an arm as Matt Stafford, but I mean, he won you playoff games. He's won big games in his career. This guy is from Cal. He was a top-round draft pick. I mean, to give up on a guy like that, I mean, I think they could have kept him and still won, in my opinion. But they wanted to take the chance on Matt Stafford. I guess, they must have saw something in Matt Stafford that they liked better moving forward. Matt Stafford, definitely has a lot of pressure with going to the Rams now. He has a great defense. He has those great wide receivers, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Cam Akers, is going to be the main running back there with Darrell Henderson as the backup running back. And they have, 2 good tight ends in Tyler Higbee and Cam Everett. So, yeah, there's definitely pressure on Matt Stafford to win now. He has no excuses. He's never won a playoff game in his career. He has a top defense. I believe going into next year, the Rams are like the 3rd best team with the odds to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl, behind only Green Bay and Tampa Bay. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But looking long term, I mean, Detroit did the right thing. Detroit did the right thing. They made a great hire in Dan Campbell. I love how Dan Campbell, when he came to the Dolphins, disciplined that team and got us on the right track. I think he's the right guy, for that job. And then getting Anthony Lynn as an offensive coordinator, who did a great job last year with the Chargers, despite all those losses. They did lose a lot of close games, but he did a great job with Justin Herbert. I think the final nail in the coffin to get rid of what's his name, the coach of the Chargers, Anthony Lynn. The final nail in the coffin was that loss to the Patriots last year, 45-0. I mean, you lose to a team like that, 45-0. I don't care what team it is. You're going to be done after that. So I think that game right now, that game right there, put the kind of like the final nail in the coffin And even though they did lose a lot of close games and they were competitive, that game kind of put it in the coffin that they were going to, move on from Anthony Lynn and get a new head coach. But
Rob,
but
do
yeah.
you think that I was going to ask you a question. What do you think that Jared Goff's final moments, where Sean McVay says, "You know what, I can't deal with this guy anymore"? Do you think that loss to the Jets was just Sean McVay saying, "You know what, this guy, this isn't going to be the guy for me long term"? I'm a Fox Sports guy, so I listen to like a lot of Colin Cowherd and that Fox Sports media. Colin said that he believed that the loss to the 49ers, where Jared Goff couldn't beat out Nick Mullins at home, was the defining moment. But was there any point, maybe for in the Super Bowl game where they only put up 3 points, that what do you think was the moment that Sean McVay said, "You know what, Jared Goff just isn't my guy anymore"?
I think it definitely goes back to that Super Bowl, because you look at that Rams offense that year with Todd Gurley. They were firing on all cylinders. I mean, yeah, they weren't the greatest show on turf with the Kurt Warner days with Marshall Faulk and those guys, but they had a hell of an offense that year. And for them to get to the Super Bowl, and I know you're going against Belichick and the Patriots and great defense, but for them to not even score a touchdown in that game and score 3 points, and you got Jared Goff and Todd Gurley and all those weapons, for you not even score a touchdown in the game and score 3 points, it's like, come on, man! Like, you guys, you're better than that, So I think that could have been the turning point.
Let's not forget.
Go ahead.
Let's not forget Todd Gurley got hurt. C.J. Anderson was the lead back. Towards that last part of the season.
That might be another reason why they lost too. Yeah, C.J. Anderson was the guy. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Todd Gurley was injured that year, so yeah, we didn't have a healthy Todd Gurley, but still, I mean, I think they still could have found a way to score more than 3 points against the Patriots. At least get a touchdown or two in that game. And I'm not saying like you got to put up 30 or 40 on them, but at least get a touchdown or two. And then obviously they did lose to the Jets at home this year. That was kind of shocking. And then Goff getting hurt with the thumb injury. But I mean, they did find a way to win a playoff game. I mean, they went to Seattle. They beat a good Seattle team. I know Seattle was kind of struggling towards the end with their offense with Russell Wilson. Their defense started to look better, but they found a way to go to Seattle, a tough place to play. I know there was no fans there, but they found a way to go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks and go to Green Bay, and they just got outclassed by a better Green Bay team that was firing on all cylinders with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how Jared Goff does now. Going into Detroit. He's a California guy. I'm sure he's kind of disappointed that the Rams gave up on him, and now he's going to a city like Detroit. He is lucky though. At least he's going to be playing 8 of his games like in a dome, so he doesn't have to worry about dealing with that cold weather too much. Other than when he has to go to Lambeau and Chicago and maybe some other cold weather places. We'll see how he does. But yeah, that trade. I think long term the Lions won that deal. Hopefully for the Rams, Matt Stafford can be the guy and get them back to the Super Bowl, and hopefully they're able to win a Super Bowl with him. But Matt Stafford, has yet to proven himself in the playoffs yet, and until he wins a playoff game, we can't really count on him too much. But moving on from that, what this trade really means is you see a guy like Jared Goff and you see a guy like Matt Stafford get traded to the Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick. And I saw your Facebook post the other day. That means what teams are going to want for Deshaun Watson is going to be like a king's ransom, because Deshaun Watson is in the prime of his career, 25 years old. I'm hearing new stories today, because I did watch the herd earlier, and I'm a big Fox Sports guy myself. I watch Colin Cowherd religiously every day. I listen to the show. I also watch Nick Wright on First Things First, and I listen to Skip and Shannon on Undisputed. And at first I was hearing the Jets were the favorite to get Deshaun Watson. I'm thinking to myself, oh man, we got to face this guy twice a year. He's going to New York now. I mean, they got a lot of picks. I mean, they're going to build around him. He wants to play for Robert Saleh, the former 49ers defensive coordinator, who's now the Jets head coach. Then I'm hearing the Dolphins are interested in getting him, but I'm thinking, it's like we just had Tua last year coming off an injury. He didn't have a full offseason to really work with receivers. He has to get stronger. He has to get better, throwing the deep ball. He missed some deep balls last year to Jakeem Grant, but I really like what I saw in Tua moving forward. And I don't think you could give up on this kid just yet after 1 year and trade him to the Texans and get Deshaun Watson, even though Deshaun Watson is the more, proven quarterback and he's done more so far in his career. But now what I'm hearing today is that the Raiders are looking at trading Derek Carr to the Texans in exchange for Deshaun Watson and some picks. And I wanted to get your opinion on what do you think of that move of possibly Deshaun Watson going to the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for Derek Carr and picks. What do you think that trade's going to look like? What do you think what do you think the Raiders are going to have to give up to get Deshaun Watson?
Well, the rumor wheel is spinning. I do know this: when you're a team and you have struggled at the quarterback position, or your head coach has not gotten what they wanted out of your lead guy. We just talked about Sean McVay saying, you know what, I'm willing to give up $22 million in dead cat money to give to Jared Goff. I'm willing to part ways with 2 first-round picks because Jared Goff is just not my guy. I need a veteran. I need a guy that knows what he's going to do with the football, and I need a guy that's going to lead my team in the end zone consistently. When I heard about the trade with Matt Stafford, like you said, Rob, before, I made the post where I say, well, the Texans are basically going to want a king's ransom. If I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, and I said, you know what, you have to entertain, exploring a trade for Deshaun Watson because of how talented the guy is. I mean, this is a guy that really didn't have that many weapons around him this year. They traded his number 1 receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. You want to know who led the league in passing yards this season? It was Deshaun Watson. I mean, nobody really takes that into account. The fact that he makes things happen, and he's made, Will Fuller, before he got suspended, had the best statistical season of his career. He's a guy that really is fearless with the football. You know what he could do with his arm, but also his scrambling ability. And he's always been a guy that has made amazing decisions with the football, even when he was playing at Clemson, had that all-star career. I mean, Deshaun Watson has to be one of the best collegiate players of all time. Taking over that same talents in the NFL, when I heard about the Rams and the Jets and the Dolphins, you have to pay a lot of things if they're going to want a guy like Deshaun Watson. For example, I heard the Texans, and I've been reading about beat writers, what they were asking for him. They're basically asking for 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and possibly 2 defensive starters. So in my mind, if I'm Miami, there were a package of things that they could have done. They could have sent number 3, the number 3 overall pick, possibly pick number 18. And if they wanted a Christian Wilkins and or Xavier Howard, personally, that might have been, I might have questioned, I probably would have done that. Number 3, number 18, and maybe a Christian Wilkins, because I know what the Dolphins could always find linemen, defensive linemen. They just drafted Raekwon Davis. They also have Devon Godchaux coming back. So I would have parted ways with the Christian Wilkins, but I'm not going to give them 6 draft picks or players for 1. That's just not going to happen for this franchise. The Raiders, not too surprised. I didn't really look into what they were offering for him, but I could see Gruden. He's signed a 10-year deal. He's always struggled with finding a quarterback throughout his entire NFL coaching career. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson, and that was probably his best quarterback that he's had in his entire coaching career. This is a guy that invested time in Chris Sims and Josh Freeman and guys that just weren't that good. So he's saying to himself, I might be in a similar situation right now with Derek Carr. I don't know how good Derek Carr is. He throws a good ball, but is he a winner? I don't know. He comes part of the Carr lineage. His brother, David and Derek, they were good, but not good enough. And I know Derek has had a better NFL career than David, but if I'm Oakland, I'm saying, you know what? The only way I can compete with a guy like Patrick Mahomes is if I have a guy like Deshaun Watson on my side. So that division is very interesting. You also have Justin Herbert, and we'll see what Denver wants to do long term with Drew Lock. So I'm excited to see the AFC West if they make that move for him. But if I'm a franchise like Miami or the Raiders, I don't know if I would pull the trigger for a Deshaun Watson. I think that eventually he will become a free agent, so I would just try to sign him. I wouldn't give up the entire house for him. But the Jets are also an interesting team too, because they have a lot of cap to work with. They have a new coach that everybody seems to love, the complete opposite of Adam Gase. So the Jets are an interesting team that could possibly make a move. And if you're Miami and you're going to watch the Jets just go into there and make a trade for Deshaun Watson, it's a little bit of a head scratcher, because now you have Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson in your division. So Tua better play well. But would I trade the house for Deshaun Watson? No. Personally, I think he's a great player, but I don't want to give up 6 players and 4 draft picks for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. And AFC is definitely going to be, interesting next year with Josh Allen coming back, and we're going to see Tua have a full year as the Dolphins starting quarterback, and we'll see what the Jets do if they do go out and get Deshaun Watson. And another team that needs a quarterback is New England, the Patriots. I don't think Cam's coming back next year. They need a quarterback. I was thinking Matthew Stafford might end up there, but he's not going there. So we'll see. But I definitely don't want Deshaun Watson going to the Jets and having to face that guy twice a year. I'd much rather see him go to Vegas. I think Vegas would be a great city for him. It's just as big as New York. He wouldn't have the pressure like he does playing in New York, because anytime you go to New York, how these Northeast fans are up here. They're very hard on their teams, like Philly fans and New York fans are very hard on the teams. I do think Deshaun could do well in New York because he has a strong arm and he'd be able to deal with the cold weather. But I think Vegas is a much better, landing spot for him. It'll be interesting to see what the Raiders give up to get him, though. Obviously they're going to have to give up, Derek Carr, and Derek Carr's brother, David Carr, did play for the Texans. So Derek Carr would be going to Houston to play where his older brother played a while ago. So that would be interesting. Another fact about Deshaun Watson. Yeah, another fact about Deshaun Watson is he led the league in completion percentage this last year. A lot of people think that was probably Aaron Rodgers, but I believe he led the league in completion percentage this last year. And I just think Deshaun's a winner.
Interesting.
And he's talking about holding out this year until he gets traded, and he has every right to do so. And I just think the turning point that really turned Deshaun Watson off was last year when they traded his top wide receiver and fellow Clemson guy, DeAndre Hopkins, to the Arizona Cardinals. I think that was the turning point.
Yes.
To give up a guy like that and get a good running back like David Johnson, I didn't understand that at all. And I don't think he's coming back next year. And I think J.J. Watt will be gone too. A good landing spot where I could see J.J. Watt going is he's a Wisconsin guy. So I could see him definitely going to the Packers. I think that the Packers need a defensive lineman. He could definitely help Green Bay there. And if J.J. Watt was to go to Green Bay and look like the old J.J. Watt and still perform, he could definitely get the Packers to the Super Bowl, because that's what they need, defense.
It's funny, because we're looking at all of these trades for a guy like Deshaun Watson, and it basically comes down to how much would you give up. Like we said before, we're Dolphins fans, and a lot of people, as soon as they say, "Oh, Deshaun Watson is available," how much are you willing to give up for him? But it's basically saying, you know what, we just don't believe in Tua anymore. So, Rob, let me ask you: do you believe in Tua in the long term for this franchise? Because we drafted him number 5 overall. We all heard the tanking for Tua stories. He falls into our laps. Do you believe in this guy? Do you think that he's the long-term answer for the Dolphins at quarterback?
I have my question marks about him as far as just for his health, coming off a hip injury. He's a very accurate quarterback. I do think he can throw the deep ball. I believe in this kid. I think he's a winner. He won at Alabama. He won a national championship game there. It was unfortunate. He got that injury. Is he kind of small for a quarterback? Yes. He is 6 foot. He looks a little bit smaller. Do I like bigger quarterbacks that are like 6'4" and up? Yes, I do. But I believe in this kid. He's a Christian. He has the law on his side. He comes from a great family. I watched a documentary on him on TV one time, and I heard about his history coming up in Hawaii and how he used to, throw the football on the beach with his dad and train with his dad, and going to the Trent Dilfer football academy camp and working with Trent Dilfer, a former quarterback who won a Super Bowl with the Ravens and also played with the Bucks. So I believe in this kid. You can't give up on this kid after 1 year. If we had him for years and he couldn't get us to the playoffs and win a playoff game, then maybe. But after 1 year, coming off an injury, being the type of year we had with COVID and all, he wasn't the starter for the full year. He started half the season. We had Ryan Fitzpatrick start half the year. We brought him in halfway through the year. I got to give this kid one more chance. I got to see what he has, a full off season to work with the wide receivers, a full off season to strengthen himself, to work on the deep ball, to have a new offensive coordinator. You drafted this kid number 5. You know, you have to see what you have in this kid. You can't give up on this kid like that. As much as I love Deshaun Watson and would love to have him, and he's a great quarterback, a proven quarterback. He's big. He's in the prime of his career. You have to see what you have with this kid. You cannot give up on this kid. You know, after a half year. I just don't. I don't think you can do it.
And not only that, but he didn't have a full training camp. You know, he didn't have those individual workouts. He didn't have that bonding moment. He didn't have OTAs that the normal time that you spent with your team and your offensive, you know, coaches, you know, going into a new system for him. You know, that had to be different. You know, Chan Gailey was supposed to be one of those old time quarterback whisperers. Now he's going to go on to his second offensive coordinator. Co-coordinators, if you just saw the news, what happened with the Dolphins. And this is Brian Flores working with a lot of guys during the Senior Bowl. And I'm willing to give Tua a chance. There were great things that I saw, like in the Kansas City game, in the Arizona game, when he shook Budda Baker out of his shoes and, you know, extended the drive for the Dolphins for Jason Sanders to end up getting that game-winning field goal. A lot of things that I saw that were good out of him. He wasn't afraid to play Patrick Mahomes head to head. You know, he looked poised in the pocket, made pretty good decisions with the football. My only issue with him is that I felt like at times the coaching staff were holding him back. It seemed like when Ryan Fitzpatrick would come into the game, the offense would open up a lot more. They would take a lot of more chances and shots down for him to throw downfield. But when Tua was playing, you would see a lot more checkdowns, conservative plays, conservative play calling. So hopefully they open up the playbook, they surround Tua with weapons, and they let the guy go be a quarterback, because we're hearing all the barkings. Oh, you guys could have had Justin Herbert. You guys passed up, God's gift and a big arm like that. Justin Herbert's godfather was Chan Gailey. It would have been a perfect match made out of heaven, but you guys went and got Tua, a guy that's only thrown to first-round receivers in his career. And trust me, I get the criticism. I understand it. He's a guy that comes from Alabama quarterbacks, blah, blah, blah. They don't pan out in the NFL. I get it. We've heard all the talks. Tua coming off of a hip surgery. Let's just pump the brakes. Let's give him a full off season to work with. Let's put some weapons around him. If they want to go line with that pick number 3 that Brian Flores magically orchestrated by getting that trade in the Laramie Tunsil trade, now we're picking number 3 and number 18. It's going to be okay, guys. We went from literally the last defense to a top 2, top 3 defense last season. The defense is there. We just got to get that running game going, and we got to give the confidence back to our quarterback. So yeah, I believe that Tua is going to be just fine. We're going to get to that next level, but this whole co-offensive coordinator thing scares me a little bit. I hope it works out, but we'll just have to see.
Definitely, Ryan. You make some good points there. And watching Tua last year, I definitely agree. There were times where they just didn't want him to make mistakes, and they didn't open up the playbook and let him really throw the ball down the field. They just didn't want him to make mistakes and throw interceptions and stuff like that. And when, you had Fitzpatrick in the game, Fitzpatrick's the type of guy, he's just a gunslinger. He's going to throw the ball all over the field. But, Tua being a rookie, it's like, as a rookie, you have to learn. You're going to make mistakes. You're a rookie. It's given. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to have 158 quarterback rating, man. You're going to throw interceptions. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. No. You're a rookie. It's your first year in the NFL. Take a step back. Let the kid learn the playbook. Let him get throw the deep ball down the field, make plays. The play calling was a little bit conservative. And going back to that Bills game, the last game of the year where we just got demolished, it was definitely really conservative in that game. They didn't really open it up until we were getting our ass hammered in the second half. All this dink and dunk stuff. It just doesn't work in the NFL. You need big plays. You need chunk plays. You need to put pressure on the defense and stretch the field. You can have the short passing game and the intermediate passes, but in today's NFL, you have to be able to throw the deep ball and put pressure on the defense and stretch the field. That's just today's NFL. That's how it is.
We saw this in the Raiders game. We saw this in the Broncos game. In the Broncos game, the Dolphins had won 5 straight. They were hot. They needed that win because that would have given them their 11th win. They probably would have snuck into the playoffs had they won that game and not even have to worry about the Buffalo game. But Tua through 4 quarters only had 80 passing yards. I mean, that's just I'm not sitting here and dwelling over statistics, but you got to have more than 80 passing yards through fourth quarter. In the Raiders game, when Ryan Fitzpatrick made that unbelievable throw at the end of the game where his face mask was basically getting ripped off, completes that long pass, which helped set up the Jason Sanders game-winning field goal. I mean, nothing really got going until Fitzpatrick came into the game. So I'm hoping that the play calling could, improve with Chan Gailey out of there. We'll see what happens long term, but there are some head scratching moments with Tua that you said, you know what, does he do anything elite at the elite level? Does he have an elite arm talent? No, he just has a pretty good consistent arm. Does he rush the ball at an elite level? Sometimes he's got good moves, but does he do anything at an elite standpoint? And I'm hoping to see a lot more of that so we could say, you know what, we drafted this guy number 5 overall. Let's have some confidence in the kid. Let's see what he's got. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing with Tua when I look at his game is his accuracy. He reminds me of Drew Brees,
Yes.
As far as the accuracy, being a small quarterback. He doesn't have the biggest arm. I don't think he can run the fastest. He's not a Kyler Murray that can run fast, but as long as he's accurate, he can throw the ball down the field, manage the game well, take some shots down the field, open up the playbook. I think the Dolphins are going to be just fine. Free agency, is coming up. It's going to be interesting to see what we do in the draft. It seems like when the Super Bowl is over, we'll get right into free agency and right into the NFL draft. The NFL is like a year-round sport.
Yeah.
It seems like it never ends. But yeah, anything else you wanted to say, about the Dolphins, before we move on here? Going into next year?
Nothing much about the Dolphins. I think that, people are hitting the panic button too much on this franchise. We have to remember that we doubled our win total from 2019 to 2021. We ended up winning, I think, 4 out of the last 6 games in 2019. That carried over. We ended up getting hot late when we needed. So you went from 5-11 to 10-6. And next year, hopefully, if we put this team together, like you said, Rob, we go through another free agent period and the draft picks, we continue to improve the offensive line, or if the Dolphins go with another playmaker that Tua is very familiar with, Devontae Smith, we'll see how that goes. Putting weapons around the kid is the right move. And I think that people just need to pump the brakes and slow down, because the franchise is in a good direction. It looks like Brian Flores is in a very good place. And Chris Greer has been doing a phenomenal job of getting the right talent. I mean, we're nailing late round draft picks. Like, people actually know who Andrew Van Ginkel is. I watch Good Morning Football, and Nate Burleson is wearing an Andrew Van Ginkel jersey. That makes me smile, because this guy was a 5th round draft pick. So they're hitting in the draft. Myles Gaskin, another late round pick that came along late. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. Just trust the process. And I know it's been a long road for Dolphin fans, but I do think that they have what it takes to finally crack the playoffs next year and hopefully win a playoff game and in the future, possibly bring in another Super Bowl title back to Miami. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say for the Dolphins.
I definitely agree with that. I think the Dolphins are definitely heading in the right direction. You look at last year, there was a couple games we lost that, we were in that we could have won. Going back to the Seattle Seahawks game, we kicked a couple field goals in that game. If we would have scored touchdowns, we would have won that game. You look at the Buffalo Bills. You look at the Buffalo Bills game at home. We gave up those 2 plays, one to John Brown, another one to Stephon Diggs for touchdowns. We probably win that game too. Kansas City, we were right in that game. We could have definitely won that game. So there's some games. And then obviously the Broncos game, that should have been a win too. We just didn't play well in that game at all and got behind. So, yeah, there's definitely some positives and negatives to look at from the last year, but I like the way the Miami Dolphins are going in the future. Brian Flores, I think, did a great job as a coach, and I can't wait to see what we do in the offseason in free agency and draft picks, and I can't wait to see how Tua looks next year. But, yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap up the show in a few minutes. One other thing I just wanted to touch on real quick. I just heard this today watching the Herd. Andrew Luck is possibly I don't know how true this is or not. Andrew Luck is possibly talking about making a comeback to the NFL. And if he did, he'd be going back to the Indianapolis Colts. I know you on your show mentioned Andrew Luck, retiring a couple of times. Andrew Luck retired, obviously. What what do you think of that? What do you think about Andrew Luck, possibly making a return to the NFL if in fact these rumors and reports are true?
I'm not surprised at all. I've been saying this on ROTM I've been saying it every week. I said, you know what? If I'm Irsay, I am going all in for Andrew Luck. I'm saying, you know what? We never really gave you an offensive line before. We're down a quarterback now because of Phillip Rivers retiring. You seem to be healthy. I always said that Andrew Luck looks, when he finishes the NFL, he's probably going to go manage or be an assistant manager at Staples. He looks like he's going to wear that tag that says, "Hi, my name is Andy." I just feel like Andrew Luck has to make a comeback. He has to. We have to see him back. The Colts have just done a complete 180 as far as their franchise is going. They have a coach. They have a running game. They have a top 5 defense. They finally have an offensive line. They have all pro players on the offensive line. I really like what they have done long term. They're going to give Andrew Luck the confidence to say, you know what, maybe it is time to come back. Andy Luck, I don't know what you're doing if you're a manager at Staples or if you're a bar manager at like a local quarter deck or something, but please come back to the Colts and let's see if you can make this AFC more interesting. I want Andrew Luck to come back. I don't know how Colt fans feel about it, but I'm sure that they have to be all in for something like that. But the GM and we've been talking so much on Andrew Luck possibly making that comeback. I don't know if Brian believes it's going to happen or not now, but if I'm the Colts, I'm all in. Bring Andrew Luck back. Let's see what the guy's got, and let's see if he could, gather around the troops and get Indianapolis on another Super Bowl run. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Going back to that AFC wildcard game with the Bills and the Colts, I mean, had Andrew Luck been in that game, I believe that the Colts could have won that game. I mean, they lost that game by 3 points. They were running the ball terrific. The defense was playing terrific in that game. I mean, Phillip Rivers, he's an old man. He doesn't have it anymore. I mean, if you have Andrew Luck as your quarterback, I mean, the Colts had a hell of a year. They got a great offensive line, a great defense. I mean, you have Andrew Luck in that game against Josh Allen. I mean, what a matchup, that would have been. I mean, I believe the Colts could have won that game. And who knows, the Colts, could have even got to the Super Bowl this year. I mean, you look at a team that could challenge the Chiefs. I mean, the Colts, are that team. Andrew Luck, that offensive line, those weapons, the running backs they have, the defense. I mean, that's a team that could definitely, challenge the Chiefs. And then, obviously, if the Raiders were to get Watson, the AFC West is going to be really interesting next year. You have Deshaun Watson on the Raiders. You got Justin Herbert coming back with a new head coach with the Chargers. And then whatever happens with the Chiefs, the Chiefs will be back with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the whole cast. So, yeah, I'd love to see Andrew Luck come back too. I welcome competition in football, especially in the AFC. And one thing I got to say about Tom Brady, I think he made the right decision by leaving the AFC and going to the NFC because, if Andrew Luck comes back, he doesn't have all that competition he has to deal with anymore in the AFC. I mean, the NFC looks like an easier conference. I mean, only really dealing with maybe, with Aaron Rodgers and, Russell Wilson in Seattle. And, we got to see how Matt Stafford looks with the Rams. And, obviously Dak will be back with Dallas. But I think Tom Brady made the right move by going to Tampa Bay. He left the AFC and the Patriots, at the perfect time. But, yes, I would love to see Andrew Luck back with the Indianapolis Colts. I hated to see when he retired with that injury. I'm a fan of football, not just of the Miami Dolphins. I'm a fan of the game. I root for guys. This is a guy I root for. I followed him at Stanford. I'd love to see the guy make a comeback and have a chance to win with the Indianapolis Colts.
Absolutely. And one other thing that's important to note for the Indianapolis Colts is the fact that T.Y. Hilton is a free agent this year. He's an unrestricted free agent. So if Andrew Luck makes a comeback, you better believe you'll be seeing T.Y. Hilton back in a Colts uniform because that connection has been one of the more special quarterback to wide receiver connections in the NFL. So I fully look for T.Y. Hilton to come back and be an Indianapolis Colt. If they could somehow get Andrew Luck back, that would probably be the best thing for Indy football. I, like you, Rob, are just a fan of the game. I know I'm a Dolphins fan at the end of the day, but why wouldn't you want to support great quarterbacks and great play? And I would love to see Andrew Luck back in a Colts uniform. And if he wants to just make his comeback to the NFL, by all means. I mean, the league is just getting better. The quarterback play is getting better from top to bottom. You're starting to see these teams like the Browns and like the Bills just sneak into the playoffs. Let's see, the Dolphins turn it around. Let's see the Lions, the Jaguars. Let's see some of these teams that have been the bottom feeders of the NFL for so long start to pick it up, and let's dethrone teams like the Patriots, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Packers, the 49ers, these teams that have been there for so long. So I'm interested to see how the NFL is moving forward, and I would want nothing more than Andrew Luck to come back, as we've been saying on the show for quite a while now. But that's all I got.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew Luck definitely coming back to the Colts. I know the Colts have been talking about possibly getting Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz got benched for Jalen Hurts for the Eagles this year, starting quarterback. So if Andrew Luck were to come back to the Colts, that definitely would affect his possibility of maybe going to the Colts. It would be interesting to see where Carson Wentz ends up. Does he stay in Philly or go somewhere else, or what?
I did hear that internally, Carson Wentz went to the upper management and said, you know what, the relationship with Doug Peterson is not working out. Doug Peterson got fired as the Eagles head coach now. And they just hired the offensive coordinator for the Colts as their head coach, which is ironic because basically they both swapped coordinators because Frank Reich used to be the offensive play caller for the Eagles. So now I think the Eagles are going to end up sticking with Carson Wentz, which is not good news for Jalen Hurts long term, because I think that firing of Doug Peterson ended up saying, you know what, Carson Wentz just didn't want to work with him. So technically, the Philadelphia Eagles chose a player over a coach in this case, and I don't know if the rumors are true, but Doug Peterson led the Eagles and won a Super Bowl for that franchise who had never won it before, and now he's gone. So we'll see what happens. Carson Wentz is still an active member of the Eagles. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to get traded, but you would have to think, as you mentioned before, that he would get traded to Indy to go back with Frank Reich, since they do need a quarterback. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely agree. It's going to be an interesting NFL offseason. After the Super Bowl on Sunday, we'll have all the trade talk. We'll see what happens the rest of the week with Deshaun Watson, if he gets traded before the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl, as well as the draft coming up and any other potential trades out there. But really, that's all the time we have for today. Ryan, again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You're always welcome to come back on the show again, and we'll definitely have you on the show again to talk football, basketball, whatever is going on the show. And I look forward to you continuing with ROTM and have some future shows coming up. And I'll definitely come on your show again. You're always welcome. It's definitely great to have you on to share your football knowledge and knowledge of sports. And I'm just glad we were able to connect this way. I do miss South Florida. I miss some of my friends down there. I hope to come back down there sometime again soon once things get better with the pandemic. But if you ever come up to New York and come this way, you're always welcome to come to Buffalo and stop by and see me. We could go check out Niagara Falls or go to Toronto or whatever you want to do. Just hang out and I wish you all the best. Being a father and your family, everything. I just wish you all the best. And tell your mom and your dad and everybody. Tell them I said hi and I wish them all the best.
Well, Rob, since you were talking about the things that have been happening in my life, I will tell you this: you're always going to be. You might be living in Buffalo, New York, right now, but South Florida will always have their doors open for you. My doors will always be open for you, man. Anytime you want to come down and visit and do another show, I think what you're doing is great. I love the fact that you've done this platform and really have opened it up for a lot of people to get on there. I'd love to come back. Hopefully have you back on ROTM, but just keep continuing to do your thing. And the only thing I could tell you at this point, there's not much advice I have to give because, I love the fact that you're doing this and you're bringing it back. But just try to stay warm, man. That's the only thing that I can tell you at this point. That's all I've got left.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's cold up here, man. It's in the 30s. It is a nice sunny day up here today. We still got a lot of snow on the ground, though. I'm getting used to the snow. Me being a Florida boy, growing up next to a beach my whole life, now dealing with the snow and the cold. It is nice to see the change of the seasons, but yeah, I do miss the warm weather and the beach and some of the girls walking around there and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's definitely a change. But winter will be over soon, and the snow will be off the ground before you know it. And it's just nice to live in another place. Like I always looked at a lot of people just never leave their hometown and never get to like experience what it's like to like live somewhere else and get a feel of what it's like to live, somewhere else. I mean, going to vacation and visit a place for like a couple of days or a week is one thing, but to live there, it's totally different. And me, growing up in the South my whole life and being a Florida boy, living in South Florida, born and raised in South Florida, to come up here and experience this is totally different. It's a different life up here. It's less people, it's less traffic, less populated. It's just totally different lifestyle. And, how the community supports, the Bills, being the only real pro sports team up here is great, but, it's totally different in South Florida. There are things I miss about South Florida. One thing I don't miss about South Florida is dealing with that traffic every day and every year dealing with those hurricanes, every year hurricane season and the rain and the thunderstorms. But, now I'm dealing with the snow. I'm getting used to it. But South Florida will always have a place in my heart. It's always going to be my home because I'm from there. And no matter what, I'm always going to support the Dolphins, the Hurricanes, FAU, the Marlins. Now I'm up here in New York, so I'm getting a chance to be able to follow more of the New York teams. I get the MSG network, so I'm following the Knicks more. I'm following the Brooklyn Nets on the Yes network. The Nets, got James Harden. They got that big three together with Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. So I'm following them now. I got your Yankees on the Yes network.
Oh yeah.
So I'm getting a chance to get more engaged in New York sports and the New York lifestyle up here. So like it's definitely a change, but I definitely miss South Florida. Hopefully, when things get better, I will come back down there and we'll get to hang out again. And like I said, if you ever come up here, you're always welcome to come visit me and stay with me and hang out. But yeah, man, we're definitely going to keep in touch, man, and looking forward to.
I'm sure. Definitely, man. I'm sure you're getting the same looks. You're a Dolphin fan that lives in Buffalo, and I'm a New York Yankees fan that lives in South Florida. They're like, how does that work? I'm New York born and I'm Florida raised, but you never forget that stuff like that. You lived in Florida for your whole life, and now you're living up in Buffalo, man. But I just want to wish you well. Keep doing your thing, and I'm sure we'll be linking up on a couple shows down the road. So just wanted to thank you again for this opportunity.
No doubt, man. You're always welcome on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Big Mac Mackey, my friend, former FAU alumni, host of Return of the Mack, two-time defending back-to-back fantasy champion, the League of Champions. Ryan, I'll be in your league again next year. Yeah, show off that title, man.
There it
is.
Back
to back. There it is, man. Yep.
That's it.
Ryan, I'll be coming.
That's it. I sleep with this thing. I don't know if anybody knows it, but I have a newborn, but I have a newborn. My newborn is in the bassinet, and my trophy is sleeping in bed with me. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great to hear, man. Ryan, I'll be coming for you next year as well as the rest of the league. Good luck trying to go for that three-peat like the Chicago Bulls and LA Lakers, man. I know you want to try to get that, but just know I'm coming for you next year in fantasy football and the rest of the league. I'll be back. Hopefully. It's gonna be my third year in the League of Champions, so hopefully the third time will be a charm. I'll be able to get to the playoffs and win the championship, and maybe knock you off, or somebody else in the league will knock you off. We'll see what happens. Looking forward to next year. Definitely looking forward to Super Bowl Sunday, NFL free agency. We'll talk basketball. We got baseball coming up in April. It's gonna be a great time to be a sports fan. Hopefully things get better with this pandemic as well. People get vaccinated and everything like that. But Ryan, again, just thanks for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you coming on and spending time with me, talking all this football. And we'll definitely have you on again, man. Just keep in touch and stay safe and warm down there in South Florida. And I'll send you some of the snow from up here down there, man. I know you haven't seen snow in a while, but I'll send you some. All right, man.
All right, man. It sounds good. Rob, have a great Super Bowl weekend. Be safe. I hope all's well with the family, and I'll catch you next time. Okay. You too, man. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Stay out of the fam too. You too, bud. Thank you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have today for Diamonds in the Rough podcast, episode 6. I want to thank my guests, Jared Jetpack Henderson, for coming on the show today, as well as Ryan Big Mac Mackey for coming on the show. I know it was a kind of long show today, but make sure you guys subscribe to the channel
and look out for my my next episode next week. I will definitely try to have another guest on. Thank you guys for watching the show, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, good weekend, and stay safe.